Hi, my name is Alexandra DePaoli. I currently live in Westchester, New York, and I'm studying psychology at a university in Philadelphia, and I'm very excited to be considered for this opportunity. I believe I'd be a good addition to the team for a few different reasons. First, I'm very in tune to the needs of young people, in particular teenagers and students. I was an intern for an organization called the JCK Foundation, which was a nonprofit that promoted mental health outreach and support. And I conducted interviews and surveys of students and people in my age group at the time. And I found out strategies, skills, and just general information that allowed me to cater a presentation toward these students. For example, a lot of students told me that they were interested in learning how to recognize the warning signs of a mental health crisis and to be able to intervene if necessary in a crisis that might be involving friends and family. I also have a lot of experience in social media, in presentations, and in advocacy, specifically social justice and human rights, and of course, as well as mental health. And I've written about that in my application too. I also have a lot of knowledge about the common barriers that surround mental health and getting mental health treatment. Of course, stigma is one of these, but something that I think is not talked about enough is the financial barriers of getting mental health support. It's of course really expensive and not necessarily easy to get health insurance to be able to afford a therapist or a counselor or just a mental health provider of any sort. And I believe that's the reason why social media is so great, because really all you need is a basic device and an internet connection, and you can be connected with people who can offer you support. I believe a community is a welcoming and supportive group that is united by a common goal or cause, or also united by similar experiences. And I believe a healthy community has lots of selfless individuals who work for the good of the community and not just the good of themselves, as well as people who look out for their neighbors, not only in terms of safety, but in terms of emotional support too, potentially financial support too. And also, it's full of those who strive to improve the community and to create the best and safest space possible. One of the ways that I influence others is through the work of the high school club I created called the Warriors, which is a mental health and wellness club that was created to spread information about mental health and to connect those in need with resources and support. And in addition, I also influence others through the student program that I created in partnership with the JCK Foundation, where I taught stress relief skills, among other things, in particular time management skills, breathing techniques, and things of that nature, as well as basic mental health crisis response. One really important conversation that I had was with my neighbor, who was the mother of two young girls that I was babysitting at the time. She had lost her job due to COVID, and she was telling me about the struggles of being home and parenting essentially by herself while her husband traveled for work. And this conversation really opened my eyes to the reality and the hardships that the lockdown has brought upon families, and specifically young children within these families. And this conversation really pushed me even more to provide support for these children who were suffering due to this lack of social interaction and the development that they really needed to thrive. Here are 5 random facts about me. The first is that I owned 12 cats at one time. And no, I'm not a crazy cat lady, but what happened was I adopted a stray who gave birth to a daughter. Before we could take them both to the vet, they both got pregnant at the same time. One had 6 kittens, one had 4, and you can imagine how chaotic that was. The next is that when I was a kid vacationing in Atlantic City, I found $60 cash on the ground, and my mind was blown. I thought it was the most amount of money anyone could ever have, and I promptly spent all of that money on jelly beans, buttered popcorn flavor. Another fun fact about me is that I've seen over 80 bands live. I've been to festivals and pop-up shows. I went to my first concert at 14. And another fun fact about those pop-up shows is that I actually waited 12 hours in Brooklyn to see a band that I definitely really didn't need to stay 12 hours for. They were a pretty small band at the time. And my last fun fact is that eggplant parm is my favorite food. Well, at least that I tell people. I'm Italian. But I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to eggplant. My favorite band, Turnover, is probably the single biggest influence in my life. At the beginning of their musical career, they were pretty sad and angsty. A lot of their lyrical content had to do with struggles with drugs and alcohol. But later in their career, they did a complete 180, a complete style change, and they switched over to something that is known as dream pop. And dream pop is a subgenre of alternative rock. It's very like reverby and echoey, and their lyrical content during this era became a lot more optimistic and hopeful. And I kind of admire how they played it safe, so to speak, within the genre of pop punk at the beginning by sticking to a lot of common themes and a lot of common sounds. They didn't really stand out back then, but once they did their complete 180 into dream pop, they totally experimented, and it definitely paid off. They created some of the biggest albums within that genre, and some of my favorite albums to date. And they just kind of served to me as a reminder to take risks, to have confidence in myself and in my choices. I am a huge animal lover. I've had a bunch of different pets ranging from fish to aquatic frogs, hermit crabs, geckos, and of course the cats that I have now. I've taken that love for animals and turned it into a pet sitting job, which I've been pursuing for about 3 years or so. I also enjoy really working with adolescents and children. I've also been babysitting for a while, and I hope to work with children long term in a future career. I also really enjoy gardening. My childhood dream was to have a garden for fresh herbs and produce that I'd be able to use and cook with, but it's not really realistic where I live because the deer and the squirrels just eat everything, can't even grow tulips around here. But I'm also really passionate about art. I've had an art side business since I've been in middle school. I sell paintings, ink drawings, pretty much anything that you want, I'll make it for you. And I'm also really passionate about art therapy and just in general the ability of art to create a sense of purpose and direction and self expression. Um, it's also really great for self care, and it's something that I recommend to people when they ask what I do to keep myself grounded.